it was almost like I picked up, he knew I needed some help. And I said, well, I've got this problem. I really don't want to have to go through having the surgeon stitch this up. And he says, well, let's just say a little prayer. I said, okay. So he held my hand, said a short prayer, and he left the room. I still got my husband on the phone.
Oh, my God.
I said, I'll call you back. I hung up. The intern and the doctor came running back into the room. The doctor comes over, lifts up the bandage. It is healed shut. And I mean, that was a shock to all of us. And he looks up the intern and he says, what's going on here? He was mad at her. He thought she lied to him. She goes, look. The bed and the floor was soaked with blood. He goes, oh. And he had this real shifty look on him. And my sixth sense kicked in. I knew something was up. And I said, oh, by the way, did you save that hernia for me? Now, at the time, I didn't know really what a hernia was. I just thought there was something in there that they take out.
Right.
And he says, oh, I forgot to save it. And he left the room. Well, I was in that room for 3 days. They would not release me. The only person I saw was the intern. And she even brought my meals. Brought my meals in, cleaned the room, everything. No one else was allowed to go in that room. By the third day, I knew there was something very suspicious happening, but I pretended like I didn't suspect anything and got out of there. So several years later, I had a regression done by a hypnotist who works with abductees. And she said that, well, when she put me through this, I saw, during the surgery, I saw the surgeon chasing something that was moving, that had little tiny legs on it. It looked like a long grain of rice, it was dark, and it was moving every time he tried to grab it. He finally got it, put it in a piece of gauze, put it in a plastic baggie and in his coat pocket, and he told the intern to sew me up. She didn't do a very good job.
Wow.
That's why it wasn't sewn right. And then I see him go out into the hall and make a phone call. A few minutes later, a man comes in, walks over to him, and he hands him what's in that package, but also all of my records, all my medical records.
Oh, my God.
And the man left. And he was dressed in a suit. So, yeah, since then I've got a couple more, but I am not having them taken out.
Oh, my God. And I know Tim and Paranormal Soul Brother have things that ask you. Tim, you look like you got something you want to get off your chest. Oh, you're on mute.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
It was more of a comment rather than a question, but she said that the surgeon was having a little trouble catching this thing. I've heard that before from other cases where they are trying to take out an implant. I know Whitley Strieber told me that the one that he had, I think it was behind his ear, was moving around, and that he had a doctor actually look at it and try to pinpoint where it was, but it kept moving under his fingers, under his skin.
Right.
So yeah, that